All right, so in this video, I'm gonna go over how we can use the product rule to find derivatives. So let's first go over what the product rule is. So the product rule basically applies whenever you want to take the derivative of two functions being multiplied by one another. So let's say you want to find the derivative of a function f times a function g. The derivative of this would be equal to the derivative of f, so f prime times g plus f times g prime. So basically you want to add up the two products of the functions where you take the derivative of one of them, leave the other one as is, and add it to the one you took the derivative of multiplied by the derivative of g prime. So f prime times g plus f g prime. So let's go through some examples. So on number 29, we have y is equal to 5x squared plus 8 times x squared minus 4x minus 6. Now, the key is to recognize what your two functions are. So this group right here, we can say that's our f, and here that will be our g. So if we want to find the derivative of y, so y prime, we would say that y prime would be equal to the derivative of f, which will be 10x multiplied by g. Just keep g the way it is. So keep it as x squared minus 4x minus 6. And then add this to f. So keep f the same. So keep it as plus 5x squared plus 8. And then multiply it by the derivative of g. So multiply by the derivative of this. So 2x minus 4. So again, here's your f prime, here's your g, and here's your f, and here's your g prime. I'm not going to spend time simplifying this because that's just the algebra part. This is the calculus part is the key. So that way we can spend more time on another example. So I'm going to go through the next one, 31. So here we have that y is the square root of x times the sine of x. And here we have our function square root of x. We can call that our f, and sine of x as our g. So then from here, we can say that y prime is equal to the derivative of f. And let me, to the side here, let me rewrite the square root of x is the same as x to the 1/2 power. So you can use the power rule from here. It's easier to interpret. So we take the derivative of f, so the derivative of x to the 1/2 power using the power rule, it's 1/2 x to negative 1/2. And then we multiply that by g. So we keep g the same. So we multiply this simply by the sine of x. And then we add this to f. Add it to f the way it is, add it to the square root of x. And then we multiply it by the derivative of sine of x, which is the cosine of x. And then from here, you can kind of clean it up. Usually you want your answer to at least have the exponents in a positive, as positive numbers. So you want to probably write this as 1 over 2 to the 2 times x to the 1/2 times sine of x plus, square root of x times the cosine of x. And furthermore, usually textbooks will have the x to the 1/2 written as the square root of x. So then this will be the same as like y prime equals 1/2 or 1 over, or let's actually write it as sine of x over 2 times the square root of x plus the square root of x times the cosine of x. It's not necessary to combine them. Some books may go to the extreme and make it all over the same quotient or the same denominator, but it's not necessary because I want to focus on the calculus part. Okay, so let's do 2 more. So let's look at 37 here. So again, here we have our f function, which is going to be 3x squared. That'll be f. And our secant of x, and that's our g. So again, we have the product rule going on. And so if we want to find the derivative of y, so y prime will be equal to the derivative of f. So f prime, using the power rule, that'll be 6x. Keep the secant of x the same. So 6x times the secant of x. All right, let me put that in parentheses because it tends to make it a little easier to understand. And add it to f, so just 3x squared. And then we multiply by the derivative of the secant of x. And that'll be secant of x times tangent of x. Again, we have f prime here, we have f here, and we have g here, and we have g prime here. There's really not much you can do to simplify this. I mean, you can factor out secant of x. Maybe you'll have an answer where it's like, you can factor out 3x from both, 3x secant of x from each group. But still, that won't be like much. You know, it'll be 2 times 2 plus an x tangent of x. Again, don't stress out about this part. This is just the algebra part. When I have my students do these on their tests, I tell them not to really worry about this. I mean, do some effort to make it clean up, but don't spend too much time on worrying on how simplified or how much you have to combine terms. So, because this is just the algebra part. It's not a big deal. All right, let's go through one more. Here we have a product rule in here, and then here we just have it be minus sine of x. So this one, let's just look at this part as the x is our f, the cosine of x is our g. So we're going to focus first on just taking the product rule here. So y prime will be equal to, so again, we're going to just focus on this first part. Then afterwards, we're going to subtract the derivative of sine of x once we do this first, once we find the derivative of f times g. So f is equal to x. So we take the derivative of x, which is just going to be 1, multiply that by g of x, multiply that by the cosine of x. Then we add that to f. Again, that's our f. This is our f prime times the derivative of g, so times the negative sine of x. That's our g prime. So again, we have f prime times g prime plus f times g prime. Wait, no, f prime times g plus f times g prime. So that's that first part. Then from it, we just subtract the derivative of sine of x. It's just like a normal expression. Just the derivative of sine of x is cosine of x. And from here, looks like our y prime cosine of x minus the cosine of x. You have one cosine of x minus cosine of x. Those cancel, so you're just left with x. You're just left with a negative x sine of x as your final answer. And that's all.